Hey everybody, Nick here. Welcome back to the channel. So we all have to work in this life. We're all taught from an early age that we have to work. You gotta be somebody. You gotta get a job. Go to school. But we don't always get that job that we dream of getting, you know. Not everybody. Most people don't. And it's taught that we have to work in this life. I mean, I'll be honest, I hate working. I hate it. I really do not like working, especially not a job that I do not like doing. You know, that it's just the same repetitive BS. Now, there's a lot of jobs out there that are really, really terrible, and no one really wants to do them. I'm gonna go and talk about a bunch of jobs that are, painfully, boring and just downright terrible. In no particular order, but this is according to me. So some people may like the jobs that I'm mentioning, and this is in no disrespect to you if you do any of these jobs. It's just that I wouldn't be doing it. I understand we all have to work in this hell realm because we're stuck in paying bills and living here. Everything has a price. You gotta pay for everything. Soon air. You're gonna have to pay for air probably. I won't be surprised. So, some really bad jobs. I would say being somebody who has to clean the bathrooms, whether it's a restaurant or mall or whatever. I mean, sure, some places a lot of people aren't pigs, but in a lot of ways, the washroom is usually nasty. I mean, especially in like third world countries and stuff, man, I'd hate to be that person who has to unclog the toilet or throw the trash away all the time. Fucking bug. This is what it's like living in a tropical country. And I got allergies. Another bad job would be somebody who has to, it's a proctologist, someone who has to go up the back end of somebody, up their ass to make sure that the plumbing is okay. That's gotta be terrible. Oof. Putting on those gloves and, yeah, forget it. I don't know if it's worse for the guy who has to check or the guy receiving. I would say, and these are that's probably a good paying job, I would say. Now, cleaning the bathroom, not so much. What's another one? People who have to pick up the trash on the side of the road. That's pretty crappy. Some places they get paid pretty well, but is it really worth it? I don't know what the going rate is, but it's pretty good paying job, at least in Canada. It has its dangers. You got like all kinds of shit that people throw away, and broken glass and needles, and so you got to wear like good gloves for that. It's a dirty job, but somebody's got to do it. I once thought about doing it only because I wanted to do like overnight shifts, and even back then, 15 years ago, it paid pretty well. Pretty good. What other crappy jobs are there? And you know what? It also depends on if you like to work with people or not, because there's obviously jobs that you don't have to work with the public, and there's jobs you do all the time, like people who do sales, or there's those jobs where you gotta depend on making a commission. That's brutal. You know, you got to deal with people. You got to try and persuade them to buy your shit. Sometimes you may not even sell anything and make anything, which sucks. And then you have to deal with rude, obnoxious people. Which brings me to the next one. That's like working in a call center. That would suck. I've once worked at a call center, but it was like volunteer, or like, what do you call it? Being I forget what it's called, where you make up the hours. You're, you know, somebody's assistant kind of thing. People can be really, really fucking rude on the other end of the phone, man. Whew. You really find out how much people are dicks with that job. Job I was doing the last few years, and still sort of doing it part-time, is teaching English online. It's not bad. The worst part of it is you have to construct their own, you know, what do you call it, tailored course just for different people, because everyone learns differently. It wasn't bad, but often the students would be late for class, or they wouldn't be able to make it, and I'd have to reschedule. Every job has, you know, a good and a bad side. I mean, most jobs suck in general. Like, I don't even think we should be working. And then you'll probably be like, well, then who's gonna take care of the things and whatever? Who gives a fuck? I know some things have to be done. I get that. I'm not but it's gotta be paying. It's gotta pay. Like, you can't, you're giving your time of this existence away. What about the gynecologist? That would be, oh my God. I heard a guy say, well, you get to see some you know what's, and we're like, yeah, what about the old ladies? Or the ones that are having problems? You're not going to check that when it's a good day, okay? That would be, I don't know, proctologist or gynecologist. Which one's worse? They get paid pretty well, but I don't think that's worth it. It takes a real special person to do that. Or somebody who has to deal with dead bodies, you know, at a morgue. I don't know about that. I get queasy, so I don't know. These fucking insects are really annoying, man. And allergies. What other jobs? A butcher. I don't know if I could do that. I like animals too much, and call me a wimp, but I don't like seeing blood at all. I'd rather avoid it if possible. Like, one question I always ask is, how do people get into these jobs and just sort of like deal with it? I think there's some sort of psychosis they do for themselves, or they, like, you know, pump themselves up. It's like, I need the money, you know, where it comes to a point you need the fucking money. And people, like I said, will do almost anything for the paper. That's what's messed up about this world. There's probably a ton of other jobs that are just really terrible. I don't know, I think being in an office building would suck, like being in a cubicle, cooped up all day, having to deal with the, like, team birthday parties that they throw, or the random little meetings and shit like that. And the unruly boss, you know, that rude ass boss that expects the world from you. That would be pretty shitty. I worked in a call center, was being a, you know, to get my volunteer hours, because I was gonna work in a travel agency, but they had also a call center. They had me doing like little stupid random jobs that nobody wanted to do, just so I could accumulate the hours. What other shitty jobs are there? Construction would be is tough. Like, I know it pays decent in most first world countries, but you break your back. You know, after a few years, you can really fuck up your body, and then you're useless as you get older. It's a pretty tough job, and you're out in the heat or very cold weather. Like, no matter what the weather is, you're out there. So I think the only job that I would really enjoy doing, and it would be tough, but like helping animals, you know, being a veterinarian assistant. I don't want to do all the nasty work, because you got to still do, and you got to see a lot of suffering. It's the same with working in a hospital. You got to see a lot of suffering and people, sick people. You know, there's a lot of good doctors, but there's a lot of corporately owned doctors these days, unfortunately. But the good ones out there, you know, that's a tough job. Being a police officer would be a tough job. You gotta deal with all the criminal assholes, and you could get shot and killed on the job. Pays pretty well in like North America, I guess, but here in Brazil, it's terrible. They've had their like paychecks delayed, like they've had late pay all the time. It's low pay, and it's way more dangerous here. A lot of them end up, you know, making deals with criminals just so they can get by. How sad is that? What other jobs are bad? Yeah, doctors, I mean, they'd have to deal with all kinds of shit. One other one, which my older sister did do. I don't know if she's still doing it. I don't really talk to most of my family. But taking care of senior citizens, like who are sick, or, you know, like a seniors building, like a, what do you call it? An old folks home. I forgot the real terminology for it, but working in those places where you gotta like change their diaper, and man, that takes a special person too. Like, I know they get paid well, but that would be brutal. That would be brutal. I think these are mosquitoes. I don't know what the fuck they are. It's still light out. There shouldn't be any. Anyway, I'm getting eaten alive out here. Who gives a fuck? I just hate that itchy shit. It's brutal. Plumber, like these trades jobs are not too bad. Like a, what do you call it, plumber or electrician or whatever. It's not bad. I mean, you got to do a little bit of like courses to get your like apprenticeship or whatever, but it's not bad. It makes good money, and you don't really have to like, you're just fixing shit. And got to be careful with the electricity, of course. You get shocked and die. What other jobs suck? I guess cashier and things like that, because it's you know, it's a glass ceiling type job. There's no way for movement. You know, you can't move up in the company ladder. You'd have to be like working for a corporate company or some shit like that. But like when you're working those menial jobs, which a lot of them are going, you know, extinct because of the self-checkouts and the maybe one day AI, or maybe they'll combine them. I have no idea, but I know there's a lot of self-checkouts which are bringing it into the cashier job. What other good job? What other fun jobs are there? Being a lawyer, I mean, you make a lot of money, but you always have to go into the courtroom. It's a stressful job, just like a corporate job. It's stressful. You got to know your shit. Yeah, it's a lot of studying involved with being a lawyer. Most of those like high-paying jobs are obviously like doctor, dentist, lawyer, What other jobs am I thinking of? Surgeon. Um, yeah, those jobs are high paying but high stress. Anytime the job is more paid, usually it's higher stress. Like obviously a cashier or whatever, you have a certain little amount and it's the same shit all the time. I don't like the repeating jobs. Imagine working in a what do you call it? Assembly line. Oh my god, that would just be brutal. That would just be brutal. It's the same thing. You're just like a automaton. Day in and day out. I think that was like Homer Simpson's job at the nuclear power plant. I worked, one of the worst jobs I did, I remember I was stocking shelves at a grocery store in Toronto, and those are jobs that are done in the middle of the night. And basically, I remember I did only one night. I lasted one night. I was so caffeinated and awake because I didn't sleep the day before, which is a big mistake. And it is a lot. Like, I mean, you think it's chill. You're just putting things up, whatever. No, because the trucks are arriving, and then they tell you to stop what you're doing and rush to the back of the building to get the frozen stuff, and you got to stock it really fast. And it's just, I thought it was going to be chill. It was not, and it was for low pay, middle of the night. The other workers were, okay. They weren't like, but it sucked. I did a lot of jobs I didn't like. I mean, like I said, I don't like to work. And I know people are haters are gonna come on here and be like, you have to work. Life is about working and responsibility. Yeah, fuck off. I think this life is just, we're worked to death on many jobs we cannot stand and we don't want to do. How about being a delivery man? I don't know if that's so bad. That's not so bad. I'm just thinking about jobs that would be kind of shitty, I guess. I'm trying to think of another really bad one, but being like a UPS person would be okay, I guess. They get paid pretty well. You're just driving around delivering shit. That's not so bad. What other jobs are shitty that I see people doing that I would not want to do? I would say farming. That would be, I'm not saying it's shitty, but it would be pretty tough. I don't know if I want to do that, because it's I kind of commend the farmers. They get a bad rap and are mistreated by the governments and things like that, but they do hard work, man, and I don't know how much they get to show for it, but it's brutal. That's pretty brutal. What about the guys who go into the sewers to have to clean and unclog all that stuff? That's got to be pretty bad, man. That's got to be pretty bad. Or how about a psychologist who has to listen to all these people's problems? That must take on a lot of stress. I couldn't imagine that. Imagine some guy telling you some shit that's like, oh my god, this is sketchy, and you can't really say anything because patient doctor confidentiality, patient client confidentiality, whatever it's called. I don't know if they can break that unless it's something really serious, unless they murder somebody. I don't know how that works. I have no idea. I don't know. For me, I think the worst jobs are when it's something nasty you got to do, or it's repetitive. Like I said, all jobs, I think, can't stand it. I wish we could live in a world where people would do the jobs that we need people to do, and then the rest is you take care of yourself. I don't know what the answer to that would be. They agree. I think the other worst, really bad job would be like, and I think my uncle did it when he was in the fire department, before he became a captain in Toronto. So in the subway, the people that have to take the bodies from those who jump are usually firefighters, but they're like the beginners type thing. It's not the paramedics, it's usually them that take them off the tracks. That's pretty brutal. That would be pretty brutal. Yeah. And I think he did that, and it can take a toll on you. The other thing is like a job where you have to sit all the time. That's really, really bad for your health. And I did jobs like that, but I started like having back problems, and I realized I have to stand more or move around. Let me know what you guys think of the worst jobs. I'm sure I missed a ton. I think it's any job. I would say any job that you're not paid well. Yeah, let me know what you think, and yeah, hit the like. This is a lighter type video, after the last couple that I did. But yeah, let me know what you think. Hit the like, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one very soon. Bye for now.